Gail Collins, No Stopping Us Now, A History of Older Women in America. Dive into the riveting summary of Gail Collins's No Stopping Us Now, A History of Older Women in America, as it takes you on a journey through time, exploring the dynamic roles and societal expectations of older women. Discover how ageism, gender norms, and changing cultural landscapes have influenced their positions in society, their rights, and opportunities. From the lives of 18th-century widows to the fight against menopause in the 1900s, this summary covers an extensive range of topics and events that molded the experiences of older women in America.
Aging and gender roles. In the past, old age was a sign of good fortune and God's grace. Elders received deference and respect, often tied to wealth. Older women were encouraged to contemplate death and sit unobtrusively at home. In farming communities, they wore caps indicating they were no longer on the marriage market. Widows had the right to 1/3 of their husband's property until death. Remarriage was common, but some women preferred the independence of widowhood, which allowed them to manage their own businesses and money. Women in literature. Over the past 2 centuries, women have been encouraged to be good wives, mothers, and uphold moral values. Despite this, some women, such as Sarah Josepha Hale and Lydia Maria Child, began writing as a way to support themselves and their families. Hale edited a popular magazine aimed at middle-class values, while Child was known for her scandalous novel and later focused on home companion books. Frances Willard fought for temperance and inspired many women to fight for feminism. The Ladies' Home Journal in the 1920s glorified youth and demeaned the elderly, but by the 1930s, magazines began featuring middle-aged women as business owners and cross-country drivers. Marjorie Hillis encouraged women to embrace independence with her book, Live Alone and Like It, and Helen Gurley Brown's Sex and the Single Girl transformed Cosmopolitan into a lifestyle magazine focused on sex. Despite societal expectations, women have made a significant impact on literature throughout history. Women's beauty standards. During the 19th century, women's beauty standards dictated that they should be young and beautiful. Magazines spread fashion crazes, yet older women were criticized for following them. However, by the early 20th century, the cosmetics industry had emerged, offering products to keep women looking younger. Advertisers still target young men, though older women have a greater median income. Major fashion brands began using women older than 70 as cover girls, and AARP published an article suggesting ways for grandmothers to remain sexy. Even with these advances, women in politics continue to face age discrimination from opponents. The history of menopause perception. For centuries, menopause was viewed as evidence of a woman's fading life force, a mental illness, or a medical condition that needed fixing through hormone replacement therapy. Doctors warned women to stay away from social activities and assigned any physical or mental ailment to menopause. The attitudes worsened with time, reaching an extreme in the 19th century when menopause was considered fatal. Even Freud contributed to the negative perception of menopause, labeling women as overbearing and stingy after entering menopause. However, in the 1980s, Jane Fonda's Women Coming of Age helped change the perception and accept menopause as a natural part of the aging process. The U.S. Senate formed a subcommittee on aging to investigate medical research on menopause, leading to hormone replacement therapy's widespread use. Finally, the FDA's investigation into Robert Wilson's advocacy of hormone replacement therapy stopped recommending the treatment. The 20th century changed the public perception of menopause, with people beginning to accept it as a natural and beneficial process of life. Women's activism through the ages. A comprehensive overview of women's activism in different eras, highlighting how women have used their age and positions to make a difference. The author uses examples of Lydia Maria Child, Harriet Tubman, Mother Jones, Frances Perkins, and Maggie Kuhn, among others, to show how women have fought for their rights and contributed to society. Women's clubs, suffrage movements, and protests against nuclear war or racism are some of the tactics employed by these women. The book also sheds light on how younger generations often find their elders inadequate and seek more radical methods. Overall, the author notes how women's activism has contributed to the progress made in several areas and uplifted oppressed communities over time. Women's fight for workplace equality. The historical oppression of women in the workforce has resulted in financial insecurity for many elderly women. Despite significant progress made in previous decades, age and sex discrimination still persist, leading many women to work well into their retirement years. Women in the U.S. have had a long and arduous journey in the workforce. In the 18th century, women primarily held jobs such as running family stores or assisting with childbirth until men took over these roles. Motherhood became the sole occupation deemed suitable for women, and this stereotype held firm for many years. In the 1920s, factory and store employers began avoiding hiring older women due to perceived difficulties with adaptability in attitude. During the Depression of the 1930s, 82% of the population believed that married women should not work, and Congress made it illegal for government agencies to hire women whose husbands had federal jobs. As a result of this and other discrimination, over 50% of black women and 30% of white women lost their jobs during this period. Women who did remain employed often experienced pay cuts. Despite these challenges, the need for female labor in the two world wars and the 1960s manufacturing industry led to improvements in women's workplace conditions. The number of women working over the age of 45 doubled from 1947 to 1962, even though they were mostly limited to low-paying clerical work. Today, over half of women over the age of 65 struggle financially, with 16% living below the poverty line. Women receive nearly $4,000 less than men per year in Social Security alone. As a consequence, a significant percentage of women over the age of 55 continue to work, even though they should be able to retire. The 2000 Supreme Court ruling allows state agencies to discriminate due to age and sex, reducing the power of women to fight for their rights in court. The path to workplace equality for women has been long and tortuous, but despite the progress made so far, there is still much to achieve. Women over the age of 55 continue to struggle financially as a result of age and gender discrimination.
As the summary of No Stopping Us Now comes to an end, it is evident that older women have navigated an ever-changing territory of societal norms, gender roles, and career hurdles throughout history. Despite the challenges, they fought for their rights, made remarkable contributions to society, and paved the way for new opportunities and perspectives. Their resilience and adaptability amidst ageism and societal expectations have continually shaped their roles and perceptions within society. With this newfound understanding, it is essential to appreciate the historic struggles faced by older women and acknowledge the progress made over the years.